The Supreme Court deciding firmly on the side of the wedding website designer, saying that Colorado law that prohibits discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, that actually violates this wedding website's designer First Amendment rights. So this is a 6-3 decision. This was written by Justice Neil Gorsuch. The decision just coming down, but in the time I've had to glance at it briefly, we're seeing that this again is a 6-3 split with the liberal justices really lashing out against this decision. And it's once again Justice Sonia Sotomayor with that very biting dissent where she says, for the first time in our history, this court is interpreting the Constitution to allow discrimination, because that's exactly what the liberal justices feared and that they voiced during the arguments in this case, that once you open the door to this wedding website designer to refuse to service same-sex couples on the basis of her free speech rights, what other doors does it open?
You heard at the beginning of the story her mention this is a 6-3 decision, and it feels like that's probably going to be something we hear a lot regarding this Supreme Court. Now, student debt cancellation wasn't the only horrible decision coming out of the Supreme Court today. As you heard there, the court just set a new precedent on what they're referring as a free speech case. I don't see it that way. I see it as a discrimination issue for the LGBTQ plus community specifically. Now, the court sided with Lori Smith, who's an anti-LGBTQ web designer who is against making websites for same-sex couples. Here she is praising the court's decision today.
I'm so very grateful to the United States Supreme Court, who affirmed today that Colorado can't force me or anyone to say something we don't believe. This is a victory for all Americans across our great country, whether you share my beliefs or hold different beliefs.
Shut the hell up, you bigot. Oh my God. I mean, just disgusting, just disgusting. To sit there and pat yourself on the back over this absurd case because you are too proud to make a website for a hypothetical gay couple who didn't even want your services anyway because your websites probably suck. I'm sorry, I just had to get that out of there. Let's get back to the facts of the case though. The court's 6-3 ruling siding with written by Justice Neil Gorsuch had a really strong dissent by Justice Sotomayor, and I wish that meant something. I do. Unfortunately, a dissent is not binding, but she pointed out the dangerous precedent towards discrimination that this is creating. From NBC News, she compared Smith's situation to historic cases of racial discrimination, in which restaurants would refuse to serve Black people inside, but would allow them to collect pickup orders from a side counter, effectively treating them like second-class citizens. And that is not exactly comparing. You can't exactly compare the two situations, but I mean, it is the same type of discrimination. You are refusing services to individuals simply on the basis of their sexuality. Something that is illegal, by the way, and the Supreme Court has held is illegal in this country. So they are massively walking back precedent and essentially allowing for the discrimination of LGBTQ people by private business owners. And let's get into the political implications behind this decision. From NBC News, the ruling could allow other owners of similar creative businesses to evade punishment under laws in 29 states that protect LGBTQ rights and public accommodations in some form. The remaining 21 states do not have laws explicitly protecting LGBTQ rights and public accommodations, although some local municipalities do. And this was the case Lori Smith brought from a lawsuit towards a same-sex couple's website. But it was insane because there was no claim by the couple. They didn't even want her services. And that's where we get this headline from the New Republic: the mysterious case of the fake gay marriage website, the real straight man, and the Supreme Court. And filings in the 303 Creative versus Elena's case is a supposed request for a gay wedding website. But the man named in the request says he never filed it. And it's absolutely insane. It's described in this tweet as bonkers. I think she's exactly right. This is the plaintiffs in the 303 Creatives and her lawyers at Alliance Defending Freedom invited a same-sex couple who she claimed asked her to make a wedding cake or wedding website, The request that forms the basis of this lawsuit is fake. And we don't need to read that, full thing. But the gist is that there was no request by a gay couple. So this editor on Twitter pointed out the person who contacted Smith supposedly never even contacted her. It says here she filed court documents saying that Stewart and Mike contacted her and asked her to design a work for invites and said they might want her to create a website. Again, she didn't make websites when she filed the suit. Despite the district court raising doubts about it representing a genuine inquiry from two men getting married, and the court didn't even raise the real doubt that the couple does not exist, is now a part of the case history. A bit of fan fiction joining the other phantom gays the case invokes. And yeah, somehow this case still ended up at the Supreme Court. And Dara, I just can't wrap my head around this.
I hate to laugh because like the rule, if it was all legitimate, like something actually happened, this is so effed up. But the fact that it traveled all the way through the court system and it didn't even exist. And then the woman really looks exactly as you'd expect. She looks like she is a parody of herself on SNL. And the whole thing is honestly, I find to be very comedic. Just because like, just when we think our country and our court system and our justice system can't get any more circus-like, we're like, hold our flag, and we just one up ourselves. It's just one embarrassing thing after another. It just never seems to end.
Exactly. And at this time, I can't stop thinking about all of the cis gay men who have been supporting the anti-LGBTQ and conservative movements. I'm thinking of people like Dave Rubin, and I'm thinking of other gay conservative influencers who thought maybe if we're sufficiently conservative, if we are if we hate the T's and LGBTQ and the non-binary people enough, then the conservatives will leave us alone. But obviously that is not what's happening, because they've come after your rights, Dave Rubin, just the same as they would come after any gay man's rights, no matter how much you've sold your soul to the right wing. It doesn't matter. They also don't want you to they want to be able to discriminate against you. So I just can't, Dara, right now, I can't stop thinking about these, gay conservative influencers who have really thrown themselves under the bus.
How do they, when they at some point kind of snap out of it, how are they going to come back from some of these things? Like some of the things that they're posting on the internet that they're declaring. I honestly am pretty excited to see how they're going to try to spin that one day. I'm just here for the comedy of it all, because that's all I could do is laugh at this point, or else I'm going to cry.
Yeah, exactly. It used to be the tagline for my show is we laugh at the news because if we don't laugh, we'll cry. And so, and it is comically horrifying, but it is still comical.
It's dark humor for sure, but it's how I'm coping with all of this. So I look forward to when these people all start changing their tune and seeing how they backtrack on it.